Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between KraV and Sonik, taking place here on Concealed Hill. KraV spawning as, well, the purple undead on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Sonik spawning as the red night elf on the bottom left. Should be a great game here, Concealed Hill. No surprise, one of my longtime favorite maps. I feel like the odd number of gold mines really changes how games are played on this particular map. Yeah, overall, something just, I don't know. Let me know if you guys, how you guys feel about the game here. Yeah. Oh, that's a little bit too far. Too far. All right. I've been setting up so many monitors recently that, well, I'm using a little bit of an older monitor, but you know, faster response time. And I don't know, the colors just seem a little bit muted. Chumpesque. Yeah. All right. Warden going to be the opening hero coming across from Sonik on the bottom left-hand side. Meanwhile, KraV is going to be going for that go-wide Crypt Lord. Beetles, we need to see that Tomb of Relics. Don't know quite. Woo. All right, so KraV has built a necropolis across on the far side here. And what the necropolis does, well, it will provide blight, which is incredibly useful. You can summon up a ziggurat there. You'll also be able to summon up additional acolytes. It's a beacon for Scroll of Town Portal, but this is a new build that I haven't quite seen yet. All right, on top of this, the Altar of Darkness coming across here. That Crypt Lord is going to pop on out in just a moment, perhaps to do a little bit of local creeping before picking up that Rod of Necromancy. Coming back around, Warden sitting at Warden sitting at level 1, already out on the battlefield. This Altar of Darkness actually was a little bit of a delayed Crypt Lord, so not quite sure what to make of that here. Perhaps just trying to build up and reach critical mass faster. But where are these beetles going? The beetles instead doing a little bit more scouting than anything else. All right, so the Crypt Lord going to be able to take down this Ogre Warrior creep camp. I would have thought that the beetles would have tried to perhaps well, do a little bit of creeping, but instead just going to be wandering around here. As we can see, oh, there's a quick detonation taking down one of those beetles. Forest Troll Berserker going to get taken down. More beetles popping up as the Warden now getting into position. Now the Warden is just shy of level 2, so Shadow Strike not yet on the table. And we're looking at the Warden trying to put pressure onto this Forest Troll Trapper. Crypt Lord now off to the north here. We can see that there's this blight off to the north. Perhaps he wants to try to set up a tower. Nerubian Tower also very far forward. So KraV, there's a lot of, well, I'll say this, there's a lot of SimCity things here that are happening that I wouldn't that is making this game a little bit different than I would expect. Normally, the Nerubian Towers are closer to the Haunted Goldmine, well, this Nerubian Tower in this forward position actually covers a lot of ground. It's difficult for the Warden to get any run-bys in, especially if it doesn't have Blink yet. Now, on top of that, this additional necropolis here to provide blight on this side of the map and also provide supply while requiring less lumber. So all of these things just kind of happening all together simultaneously as we're looking at the Warden well, absorbing quite a bit of damage. Crypt Lord trying to get back onto Blight will be able to do exactly that. Gets back onto Blight. There's a Shadow Strike onto the Crypt Lord, and now the Nerubian Tower joins in and to slow that Warden down just a little bit. Now the Crypt Lord should be able to regenerate more than enough hit points while on Blight here, but Huntresses are now about to join in as well. All right, there's a Ritual Dagger to try and heal up a little bit more. Who's going to get that first kill? That's going to be incredibly important. Low hit point Ghoul trying to retreat back here. It looks like it's going to get finished off, but it is denied as the Ghoul is trying to back up again. All right, skeletal minions out here on the battlefield. This could cause a detonation, giving level 2 to the Warden. And this is a game of just a micro chicken right now to see who can get to level 2 on their hero first. 4 experience shy versus 12 experience shy, going to be incredibly close as the Huntress, well, wants to wake up the creeps, aggro them to be able to do exactly that. Are we going to see the skeletal minion down to 87 hit points? Going to try to get back on the Blight and stay alive as we are getting up a graveyard here. All right, Crypt Lord, back up to a fair amount of hit points, nearly 500 hit points, Blight regeneration, Hero regeneration, and that Ritual Dagger all working together. We're going to see level 2 now on the Warden, level 2 on the Crypt Lord. Where was that? Did a skeletal minion kill a wisp? Somehow the Crypt Lord got up to level 2, and I don't see where exactly that, or how exactly that happened. There's an Impale. Warden could have some problems here. Gonna go ahead and blink away. Huntress, oh my goodness. The 7 units surround, simply not enough, as the Necropolis here takes a little bit of damage. Giant Sea Turtle gonna get cleaned up here. Crypt Lord, well, still at level 2, picks up a Mantle of Intelligence right there. Huntress off to the side, shadow melded right in front of that creep camp. Necropolis trading up a couple of acolytes as we are, well, nearly at tier 3. So a little bit of a beetle infestation causing problems down there on the southern side, causing a little bit of distraction. There's a Dust of Appearance, and oh, Sonik does not know that a Dust of Appearance was used, and that gave KraV the perfect opportunity to, well, enable a complete surround. Wisp also going to get taken down as well. As are we going to see perhaps a Ziggurat here and then another Nerubian Tower? No, we are not. All right. Tech to tier 3 underway. I believe this could potentially be a head fake by KraV to make it look like he's trying to go for an expansion, when in fact he is going for a very fast tech, or I wouldn't even say a fast tech, a tech to tier 3. Hasn't gone for a second hero yet, doesn't have his slaughterhouse yet, and instead, gonna go ahead and creep out the Rock Golem creep count. Alright, so Crypt Lord will get to level 3 off of this. Warden will also get to level 3 as well. And the path at which we've gotten here to the mid-game, perhaps a bit different than normal. Really curious as to how all of this is gonna be unfolding here as the Murloc Huntsman and all of these units getting cleaned up. Alright, Warden, level 3, picked up a Tome of Strength, heading off to the north here. Meanwhile, Crypt Lord also level 3, gonna pick up a Manual of Health, will finish off this Forest Troll Trapper creep camp. Does have a Potion of Greater Mana, so Impale could come into play again, as this Necropolis now getting cleaned up by a bunch of Huntresses here. Alright, Warden gonna try to get a Shadow Strike onto the Acolyte. Acolyte does have decent regeneration while on Blight, but I do not believe it will be enough, especially without a Death Knight, to try and heal it up. And, well, there's that little Shadow Strike dealing enough damage there. Alright, there's a bit of deny. Warden could have a little bit of problems. Is it gonna try and blink away? There, well, there's a Wand of Mana Stealing. Nicely done. Warden using a Wand of Mana Stealing to deny the Impale, and then, well, getting away easily. Necropolis has been taken out, but remember, the Blight still stays. That is going to be a nice, easy way to regenerate hit points off to the side here, as Gargoyles have now taken to the skies. Alright, so Gargoyles versus the Archers here. It's going to be a battle of numbers, whether or not the Archers are going to be able to take down these Gargoyles. Archers do have, no, they do not have the improved range. So without the improved range, the Gargoyles, well, and the Archers are not going to be able to outclass the Gargoyles in range completely. Gargoyles are trying to take down this Goblin Shredder. Goblin Shredder getting a lot of repairs, as we're now looking at the Beetles trying to fight back as well. Huntresses of Sonik with that glaive, or excuse, yeah, that heavy armor upgrade, as the Crypt Lord now looks to retreat back. Alright, there's a quick detonation. Gargoyle is trying to fall back here. We are looking at a dual Crypt with Ghoul Frenzy, no Slaughterhouse. And this is a bit strange. This is still a bit strange here, as the Gargoyle is now trying to retreat back. Huntresses, level 3 on the Warden, and I'm trying to predict what's going to happen here. 47 supply for Sonik compared to KraV's 36. They're both solo heroes. Both are at tier 3 or teching to tier 3. the gargoyles should be able, are simply, I believe, waiting for nightfall to be able to heal up at the Fountain of Health. And then once they're able to heal up at the Fountain of Health, then they're going to be in a good position to clear out that red dragon. The question is still going to be a little bit of timing. So we also looking at a couple of carrion beetles wandering around here, and I'm just curious as to what these players and their ultimate strategy and goal is. All right. All right, stone form gargoyles for better regeneration. Also 15 armor on these stone form gargoyles. You can see blight regeneration, stone form gargoyle regeneration, just able to heal up quite a bit as we are looking at an expansion attempt by Sonik. All right. Oh, is that beetle going to be able to get that last? Nope, Shadow Strike in order to save those two low hit point huntresses. Huntresses now looking to fall back here.
A player's forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, oh, Goblin Shredder looking to clear out the trees. Bunch of low hit point units here. We don't see, well, there's an Ancient of Lore. We need to see some rejuvenations go down. That's some, well, relatively high hit point or low hit point huntresses that could still be saved. And now going after some of these, well, this creep camp here. Crypt Lord, 879, gonna get to level 4 here in just a moment, summoning up a Ziggurat. Huntress is now making their way over. There's gonna be a little bit of, well, a little bit of damage. Ghouls trying to swarm past the other way. Gargoyles are going to be able to engage. We're going to see a Fan of Knives. Nope, we're going to see, there goes an Impale. Quite a bit of damage. And now those Huntresses, well, Huntresses, even though they have heavy armor, cannot take that much focus fire from the gargoyles. All right, Shadow Strike straight up onto that Acolyte there. Little bit more damage. Warden trying to back away. But yeah, gargoyles no longer that effective against huntresses and taking them down because of the upgrade to heavy armor. However, if they're just stationary like that, they still take quite a bit of damage still as the Warden looks to back up again. All right. Shadow Strike, that 30s damage over time, causing the Crypt Lord to, well, offer the ghoul up as a sacrifice again. Where are the gargoyles? Gargoyles are trying to finish things off, but shadow melded archers quickly able to, well, perhaps pummel down one of those gargoyles right there. It's going to get taken out easily. Warden nearly now, or more than halfway to level 5. Crypt Lord, pick up a tome. We are at Black Citadel. Boneyard could train up some frost worms here in just a second. Meanwhile, Acolyte's going to get trained up and transferred to this haunted gold mine. Here. Archers, Warden, perhaps going to try and finish off this Fountain of Health off to the side. There's some damage already. Archer taking the majority of the piercing damage from that red Drake. Dryad should be able to finish things off pretty quickly and easily. Warden does not have an Orb of Venom, so has no way of shooting up right now, as the Crypt Lord just shy of level 5 here. I would have thought the gargoyles, or trying to clear out one of the Fountains of Health, would have been a fairly safe call. Warden is at level 5 here. Druid of the Claw out here on the battlefield. Do we still see some low hit point? No low hit point units there. Perhaps they're all at the Fountain of Health and feeling much better. Gargoyles, Frostworm on the move. All right, Dryad taking quite a bit of damage. Are we going to see an Impale? There's an Impale. Tome of Strength. Warden, Fan of Knives. Gargoyle, or excuse me, Ghoul quickly taken down. Fighting next to here, there's a Scroll of Healing used as well. Both sides trying to engage. There goes another Impale, just removing the units from the fight temporarily as Sonik has, lost another Druid of the Claw here. So many air units here once more putting in pressure, and now the Warden trying to fight back. What's going to go down here as we're looking at another slow attack here again. There's that Tome of Strength. Warden, well, looking to back away again, and, well, slow damage. Warden, well, going to be able to blink back and get to safety. All right, 60 over 70 supply. KraV looking like he's in the driver's seat of this game. However, Sonik does have a fully saturated gold mine. Meanwhile, KraV needs to get one more Acolyte over there. So economically speaking, KraV a bit behind since he is paying some taxes. And, well, then comes another Impale. Warden could be in trouble, down to 36 hit points. And, wow. I thought it had blinked away, but it did not get away in time. Crypt Lord, now at level 6, has access to, Locust Swarm, if necessary. And now, this tree of life is going to get cleaned up here. Wisps coming over, trying to get some detonations. Tree of life, even with 7 armor, not going to be enough. There's a staff of teleportation inbound. Warden going to try to come back across. There goes a blink, or trying to perhaps go for a fan of knives. Is the tree of life going to get taken down to 50, 30, 21, 17? And the wisps able to keep that tree alive. Tree of life and the entangled gold mine. That is a huge amount. That is a huge swing the other way, as Sonik able to barely hang on to that expansion, and by holding on to it has still a fighting chance of getting back into this game, as opposed to being set behind by about 2 to 3 minutes in terms of mining. I don't remember the last time I saw it that close. More wisps need to get trained up here. Dual ancient protectors now by Sonik to try and provide a bit of cover and support. The gargoyles now making its way down. The ancient protectors will not be up in time. Maybe about 400 hit points, if that, as more ancient protectors still coming online here. Gargoyles trying to make their way over. Well, that's going to be a lot of damage from those gargoyles to try and shut down here. There goes another ancient protector. Huntress is trying to make their way over. This ancient protector going to get canceled and rebuilt as well. So this is just a game of whack-a-mole, trying to clear up these ancient protectors, but it's not going to happen. Dryads and archers are finally out here with that improved range, able to, well, lob attacks over. All right, Blink. Are we going to see a fan of knives? Sonik trying to clear out these acolytes. KraV purposely bringing about all of the acolytes into different positions, making it difficult for the Warden to fan of knives and get to level 6. Meanwhile, moving back down to the south side here, well, we're looking at one ancient protector now completing, with 2 more right behind this. And, well, what is the Crypt Lord to do? We do have Locust Swarm. Gargoyles are healing up nicely. KraV is building up a little bit more of a lead. Again, 74 supply compared to 55. And should be able to make its way down south here in just a moment. There is, well, triple ancient protectors by Sonik, though, so definite home field advantage for Sonik. KraV and Sonik both trying to stay at, well, single hero. Ultimate ability already for KraV here. There's a Tome of Intelligence. Come on, pick it up. It's right there.
A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, yep, gonna go ahead and pick it up right there. Oh, there goes an acolyte. The center creep camp, the Ogre Lord, still alive. That actually comes as a big surprise, as that is often a very easily taken out creep in order to drop a good item. Meanwhile, Warden, one-woman army, able to go after this this expansion here and pretty much shut it down by itself. So Sonik no longer mining at the northern spot. That's going to be a major setback indeed. Meanwhile, ghouls, frenzy, beetles trying to come across here. Archers going to be able to easily finish off some of those carry-on beetles as well. Crypt Lord sitting at level 6 here, wants to get to level 7 for level 3 beetles. Are we perhaps going to see an impale? Yes, we do. That's going to be quite a bit of damage. That's going to slow things down. Crypt Lord getting in some easy damage here. There's a big roar as the gargoyles, well, big scroll of healing used there. Crypt Lord getting up to level 7. Locust Swarm now online. Avatar of Vengeance. So Locust Swarm versus Avatar of Vengeance, and you can see the Locust Swarm dealing, well, large amounts of damage, but so is the Warden. The Warden and the Avatar of Vengeance, Fan of Knives, so many corpses available out here on the battlefield, and the Spirit of Vengeances are not going to be able to poke apart all of those gargoyles as well. Warden trying to get in a big Fan of Knives here, needs a little bit of mana. What is going to happen to the Warden? Warden going to be able to blink away, go after this Frostworm there, but being forced to double back around. Gargoyles still looking to fight here. Crypt Lord summoning up some beetles, but you can see these Spirit of Vengeance is 17 to 21 damage and completely invulnerable, well, absorbing so much damage here. All right, units being forced to retreat back And, well, Gargoyles hanging around by the Fountain of Health, 59 supply compared to 27. Sonik needs to somehow rebuild up an army. Meanwhile, KraV needs to extend his lead and somehow find a way to deal with this Avatar of Vengeance. Oddly enough, the entire army is pretty much in the air right now, so KraV, if he's able to not provide corpses, this air army, the Gargoyles, well, it was mainly the Spirit of Vengeances that were able to attack it consistently. 36 supply compared to 62. KraV looking to find a way to shut the door on this game. Oh, Warden gonna be bringing in more damage against all of those units here, and perhaps we're gonna see a Goblin Sapper take down this Spirit Tower. Is it gonna do it? Yes, it is. There goes one. Another Ziggurat taking quite a bit of damage. Warden trying to finish off Acolyte after Acolyte as the main gold mines are nearly mined out. All right, down to 600 gold here. We're looking at more battling underway. Archers trying to fight against all of those ghouls, but that's not going to bode well either. All right, Gargoyle still showing up to the party. 57 supply compared to 16. Writing should be on the wall. Sonik does not, I do not believe Sonik has enough to really fight back here, even with the Avatar of Vengeance here finishing off this gold mine. What you see is what you get. 51 supply army compared to 18. And yeah, the army is just far too much unless the Warden gets off some major fan of knives and the Crypt Lord doesn't get scrolls of healing. That's what KraV needs right now, scrolls of healing, just in case multiple fan of knives are able to land onto these Gargoyles. But the Gargoyles with Stone Form, remember, can also, well, regenerate their hit points fairly easily. All right. Both sides fighting their way through. Warden, well, blinking back off to the north here. Another Druid of the Claw trying to get trained up. There's only, well, 130 gold left. There's another fan of knives once more. And trying to poke pressure onto the Frostworms and some of these other units here. Well, getting a little bit of damage. Warden being forced to retreat back again. Level 8 Crypt Lord, level 7 Warden. And just still poking damage here. Warden down to 290 some odd hit points. And now, well, unable to easily get within range. Are we going to see a rejuvenation? Yes, rejuvenation onto the Warden, only to see the Druid of the Claw get absolutely bursted down in a matter of, well, in a matter of seconds there, as the Warden says thank you, Druid of the Claw, but now going to head back home and reconsider her options. All right, perhaps drop, use a Clarity Potion, perhaps drop the Pendant of Energy as well. Not quite sure what to make of all of this. Back up to 130 some odd mana again. Archers, are we going to see a new Avatar of Vengeance? I believe so. There's a new Avatar of Vengeance, but KraV actually taking some of the corpses away by summoning beetles. This is going to be incredibly important as well. The Crypt Lord trying to use up some of those beetles here. Warden trying to fight Avatar of Vengeance, trying to back away. But all of these buildings will be lost here. No more mining. All right, so top left-hand side of the map, no more mining. Gargoyle not mining here. So well, Sonik is at full saturation on the Expo. Meanwhile, KraV has the army as the Warden now gets up to level 8. All right, so level 8 Warden now accessing Shadow Strike as well. Trying to finish off that beetle. That beetle, it looks like it's going to survive at 2 hit points. Orb of Venom, remember, doesn't finish off any unit there. Spirit of Vengeance now making their way over. Ancient of War getting the final hit instead as the Warden now moves off to the north. Is the Warden going to live up to the hype of a one-woman army by herself? That is the question here. Clarity Potion should perhaps be used in order to, well, get a little bit of mana again. Oh, Avatar of Vengeance inside an undead base. Well, plenty of corpses here. Summon up those spirits. There we are. There's one. Just summoning up as many spirits as you can. Avatar of Vengeance doing exactly that, using the graveyard against your opponent. There's a big fan of knives. And, well, Acolytes are going to all get taken down here. All right. Avatar of Vengeance looking to finish off all of the Acolytes inside the base here. More Warden or more ghouls getting taken out. Another Acolyte going to get lost. There's some unsummoning as well. 36 supply or 35 supply compared to 20. Are we getting more things summoned up here? Ancient of War trying to get trained up here. No Ancient of Lore. Staff of Teleportation inbound for that Warden. Warden needs to pick up a potion of mana and use it. And there, well, perhaps try and put in that pressure again. Gargoyles are still up in the air there. Pick up that last potion of mana, perhaps. Or are we going to see some Shadow Strike as well? Damage coming back across. Warden, well, Clarity Potion. There's a big fan of knives trying to get some damage onto those gargoyles. Gargoyles did not. We're looking at some more damage again. Are we going to see a fan of knives? No, no fan of knives. Warden trying to back away, get a rejuvenation. Clarity Potion, potion of mana there. 33 supply compared to 22 as the gargoyles are going to be healing up at the Fountain of Health again. Meanwhile, Avatar of Vengeance is going to be coming to an end here, and when with that comes to an end, well, the Warden needs to resummon. There's about another 30 seconds left out of that Avatar of Vengeance, and then needs to resummon one. Do not take down this graveyard. The graveyard is well, a gift for corpses right now, which that Avatar of Vengeance needs. All right, Warden trying to back away. In comes a couple of Ancient Protectors. Ancient of Wonders right there. Warden trying to fight back. Are we going to see a blink? Yes, we are. There's a rejuvenation. This Druid of the Claw staying in Druid form to just act as a paladin to heal up that Warden every time the units make their way through. All right, little bit of damage. Well, Ancient of War, Warden trying to blink. There's a big fan of knives, and all of those gargoyles, well, went up and down again. There's a Shadow Strike again. Archers gonna end up getting taken down. More damage over time. Warden's gonna be able to blink. No, it is not. And now trying to fight back against all of these units again. Archers pummeling the Frostworm down to 700 hit points. Warden, big fan of knives, nearly takes down, well, multiple gargoyles. Does take down multiple gargoyles after a couple of hits here, as the Warden does need to back away. Rejuvenation not yet quite ready, as the, well, in comes the Druid of the Claw. We should be looking at a rejuvenation now onto that Warden. There we have it. Continue to fight back again. Sonik is somehow making this work. There's a big fan of knives taking down multiple gargoyles again, and the gargoyles are, they're not going to be able to easily heal. Warden is going to be able to blink. Fan of knives, no follow-up fan of knives as it makes its way back down. All right, seems like the Druid of the Claw, well, of Sonik, able to join in on the battle here. We see a new Tree of Life, and Sonik looks like he's going to outlast KraV after all of the fighting here. Avatar of Vengeance is gone, but the Warden could resummon one up here in just a moment. There's just too many Ancient Protectors down here. The Archers with that superior 700 range compared to the 300 range, not going to be enough. But the Warden, is the Warden stuck? Well, Warden is kind of stuck in a weird spot right now. We're looking at the Stone Form Gargoyles. Oh, blink. Yeah, no. A level 8 Warden can never be stuck. Blink is always available. Level 3 Blink, level 3 Blink Warden is never surrounded. Warden quickly using up a Clarity Potion, gonna try and blink away again, try to re-get some of that precious mana. Wisps now making their way back over. There's another detonation. Archers getting trained back up. Tree of Life fighting, but Sonik, because he has the economy, gonna come away as the victor here. Well, there's a clarity, well, end of a Clarity Potion, and the, well, I do believe the Warden is just gonna head off to the north here, summon up another Avatar of Vengeance, and go after some of these buildings again. Druid of the Claw retreating back under the cover of Ancient Protectors. Should be enough here. Wisp is gonna get taken down. Yep. There goes another Wisp again. Each unit matters so much. More Archers. Druid of the Claw trying to fight back. There's the Avatar of Vengeance. Black Citadel about to get taken down. Yep. Graveyard once again acting as a liability. I wonder if KraV had actually unsummoned his graveyard, would it have been enough to prevent all of these Spirits of Vengeances from being able to slowly pick away and buy a little bit more time. At the same time, though, well, without the graveyard, then there wouldn't be any ways to train up any additional gargoyles. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.